It's February. I wonder if you think of me. Tell me, do you think of me? Baby, do you think of me?
Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is Nikki here. So today I have a really exciting video. I'm going to be showing you how I did this makeup look right here, but the catch is I used all NYX products, so all drugstore products. I personally love NYX. NYX is one of my favorite drugstore brands, if not my favorite drugstore brand. I love them. I love what they're about. I feel like they are high-end quality but with a really affordable price, which is what I love about them. They did kindly send me some products. The other products are completely mine, purchased with my own money. This is not a sponsored video at all. I just thought it'd be good for you guys to see what you can achieve. You don't necessarily have to get high-end products. So if you want to see how I created this full beat bad girl look, then just keep on watching. Okay, so to start off with, I just pink-out my hair. It's looking a little bit messy, like you can see it, and I don't know why, but my natural hair doesn't want to hold anything. Like I curled this 5 minutes ago and I hairsprayed it. Literally doesn't want to cut anything. Anyway, we're going to start off by just putting some cat ears on, a headband on, to get all of the hair out of my face, because I've noticed that in my tutorials when I don't do this or I don't tie my hair up, I have like hair everywhere and it's really annoying. Okay, so we're going to start off with the NYX Honey Dew Me Up. This really reminds me of, I think it's the Guerlain primer or moisturizer, because it's got gold flakes in and it increases skin radiance, which is really nice. I love the spatula applicator on it as well. So I'm going to take a little bit of this and I'm going to pop it all over my face and my neck, and then I'm just going to rub it in with my hands. So it feels like it's kind of sticky, and I assume that's because it's got the honey in, which is a natural antiseptic. But I really like that feeling. I think if you've got an oilier skin type, you probably won't like it. But because I'm dry, for you guys that are new here, I have a drier skin type or dehydrated skin type. It just feels so nice and moisturized. I really hope that this birthmark is not distracting you guys. It's really weird. It's got like a red kind of blood mark in the center. So I burnt myself with the curlers when I was curling my hair, and it literally scabbed up. This was a couple of days ago, it wasn't today, but it scabbed up. I was scratching it and it literally just popped off, like the whole scab just popped off. I'm left with this. It's really distracting. It's distracting for me, so I don't know if it's going to be distracting for you guys. I should probably put concealer on, shouldn't I? So I will be using the NYX Angel Veil Skin Perfecting Primer Base, which is oil free. I have learned with trial and error that you need like the tiniest bit of this, else it will give you a white cast. So I'm going to take a little bit of it and not too much. I'm going to concentrate it down at the T-zone area and then blur it out all over my skin, on my face and my neck. I'd like to quickly just point out that because I've got a dry skin type, I like to heavily moisturize and I like to have a lot of skin care layers to my skin before I go on to even foundation. However, this primer, I don't think it deals well with that if you've got like a thicker moisturizer on, because it creates that, you know, where it rubs off and it creates them white little specks. It does that on me, and it's not the first time that it's done it. It's done it a lot of times, and I feel like I've let my skincare products soak into the skin as well, but it still kind of just rubs off itself, and then you've got to dust it off. So even though I like the primer, and I've said it in another video, compare it to the Benefit Professional, it's like a lighter version of that. I think you want to just use it on textured areas or open pores. If you've got a drier skin type, I prefer like the e.l.f. Hydrating Primer, which is very liquidy. I don't like ones that are very silicone-y. Of course, I want a glowy skin, so I'm going to be using the NYX Born to Glow Liquid Illuminator. This one is in the shade Gleam, but I've also got the Born to Glow Liquid Illuminator in the shade Pure Gold. So if you're a deeper skin tone, this one's going to be beautiful because it's got more of a bronzy gold look. It's really nice on the cheeks as well if you are bronzing up and you want that bronze goddess look. Is a beautiful gold colour up against this pink one. But I'm going to pop this one just on the high points of my face, like my cheekbones, down my T-zone and my forehead and chin area, and then I'm just going to buff that out with a damp beauty blender. This one's going to give me just a little bit of iridescence. It's kind of like MAC strobe cream, so it'll be a little bit of strobing underneath my foundation. You guys can see that that's just giving me like a strobe on my high points. You can also, which I've done before, which is quite nice, is mix it into your moisturizer and then put it all over. So it's literally like MAC strobe cream, and it gives you an iridescence all over the skin, and you can put it on like your chest area. It's quite nice for a no makeup day. For foundation, I'm going to be using the NYX Total Control Drop Foundation. This looks so cool. It's been out a while, but I've only just got my hands on it. This one is in the shade Golden Honey, but it's still in the box because I feel like this one's going to be way too dark for me. I've got another two here as well. This one is Caramel and this one is Golden, just Golden. I feel like Golden's going to be a bit too dark as well from when I swatched it on my face. So I'm going to go with Caramel. I feel like this may be a little bit too yellow. Now, even though I have a yellow undertone and I am quite golden, I'm more of a golden neutral, if that sort of makes sense. I've got yellow in me, but it's not pure yellow. So I feel like this, and I feel like the NYX shades in general were a little bit too yellow for my liking. So I think I'm going to have to mix it with my HD foundation that I've got from them as well. But I'm going to take a little bit of this on the dropper applicator, and I'm going to try and attempt to do the drips on my face for the purposes of just wanting to do it, and then I'm going to buff that out with a damp beauty blender. Okay, so I must say that even though the dropper applicator is fun, it's not fun when you get it on your clothes, and that's what I managed to do. This foundation literally feels like air to me. Like there's nothing to it, and I usually like a very moisturizing wet foundation. Even though it's very runny, it is quite full in cover, which is quite deceiving. So you don't need a lot of drops. And I do like it. I think the colour match is okay. For me, I'm very picky with foundations anyway, as you guys know. But I think that's fine, and that's Caramel. Then I'm going to be taking a little bit of NYX HD Studio Photogenic Foundation in the shade Warm Sand. I love this one. This is my favourite NYX foundation. I love the shade of it. It is a little bit more neutral. It is a little bit more on the fairer side for myself, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this on a damp beauty blender, pop it down my T-zone, and use a damp beauty blender just to buff that out onto my face. Okay, so I forgot to add that drop foundation is, on my skin it felt a little bit more matte. It was very matte. This one, the HD one, is very dewy. So mixing the two together is like perfect for me because I'm going to get more of a satin finish. Moving on to concealer, I'm going to be using the NYX HD Studio Photogenic Concealer in the shade, I believe it's, Tan Bronze 07. Literally love this concealer. I've raved about it so much before in my past videos. I compare it to the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in Caramel. It's more or less the same, but for less than half the price. I just love this concealer. So we're going to be popping this in all the areas that we need it. Like for me, in my instance, it's around my mouth area, and it's underneath my eyes and my eyelids as well. And then I'm just going to buff that out using a damp beauty blender again. This concealer is absolutely incredible. Look how much full coverage it gives you. And you guys know that I have like dark circles, and I usually use the MAC Pro Longwear because it's got really good coverage and I don't need to color correct. This one you don't need to color correct. It's such a good drugstore concealer. NYX also have one that is called Full Coverage that I really need to get my hands on. I believe it's in a squeezy tube, but at my local NYX they don't do it, so I need to like order that. I need to order a couple of colors so I can try it out for you guys. I'm just gonna cover up. I'm gonna cover up this bad boy. You can still see it. It doesn't want to go. It doesn't want to leave my face. Then I'm going to be using that same concealer, but in the shade Beige. Beige is more of a yellow undertone. I hope you can't hear the airplane above me or the helicopter. It's also raining, which is great for me, but it is a yellow undertone. If you have a fairer skin tone than myself, but you are yellow undertone, then this one is a great one to go for because it's not pink and it's not like ivory, or it's not like beigey, if that makes sense, which contradicts the name. But I'm going to take a little bit of this and I'm going to pop it on just the high points of my face and underneath my eyes, and then just blend that out using a damp beauty blender. So I've been trying this technique recently where I don't take my highlight all the way up because I feel like that makes you look a little bit draggish, and I also don't like the transition line if you don't blend that well. So what I'm doing is I push the product onto the side of my nose, and then I angle my beauty blender so it curves back down towards my mouth area. That avoids me kind of taking it up and getting that line. And then I take an area that is not got any pigment or foundation on it, and then I just buff it out. Now my face is looking a little bit flat, and with the highlight it looks a little bit too much. So I'm going to be taking the NYX Conceal and Correct palette. This one is in the shade Deep, Absolutely love this palette, and I love it for cream contouring. Lately I've been into cream contouring a lot, so I'm going to take the two darker shades just on a MAC contour brush, and I'm going to start warming up the skin. So I'm going to start bronzing it a little bit, adding a little bit of colour, but also contouring around the sides of my temples, my cheekbones, my jawline, and like the bridge of my nose as well. Then I'm just going to take a clean fluffy brush and kind of just buff that into the skin. Now my skin has been warmed up, I'm going to be using the NYX Highlight and Contour Pro palette. I'm so excited to be using this. I've never actually used it before, so I'm probably going to go into this deepest shade and then go into this second shade as well, just using a contour brush. I do want to just set my contour in place because it is a cream. You guys know I hate committing to powder underneath my eyes, but you can powder underneath your eyes if you want to right now. So just taking these two colors, and then I'm just going to run this along my contour. This will strengthen it a little bit, but it will also set it in place. Now I've zoomed you guys a little bit closer, I'm going to move on to eyes. I've got two products here. I've got the Tame and Frame Tinted Brow Pomade, and this is in the shade Brunette. And I've also got, because I've used it to death, like all the writing's rubbed off, the NYX Micro Brow Pencil in the shade Brunette as well. This is very similar to the MAC spiked pencil that I use, you know, the twist up brow pencils that MAC do. But I'm feeling like I want a full beat heavy brow, so I'm going to be using the NYX Tame and Frame. Okay, so we're going to start off just by brushing through the brows. It is really important to do this just so we can get any foundation or just groom the brows really nicely in a shape that we like before we even start putting any product in. Now using the NYX Tame and Frame pomade, this is actually in the shade Espresso. Sorry guys, I'm going to take it on an angle brush. What I would say is this is a lot more liquidy, so I like to take the excess off on the back of the lid, and then I'm literally just going to start putting that through my brows. As we usually do, just fill in any sparse areas, fill in your brows, and then I'm going to brush out using a spoolie. Once you guys have your brows on, I'm going to be using the NYX eyeshadow base, and this is in the shade, doesn't really have a shade, I think it's just a skin tone one, very similar to the MAC Soft Ochre or the MAC Groundwork. It's kind of a mix of a colour between them two, very much like a concealer colour. So I'm going to be taking this just on a synthetic brush and then just buffing this all over the lid. I'm also going to take a little bit of that product on like an angled, rounded synthetic brush, and I'm going to just start carving out my eyebrows as well. I feel like this just cleans them up really nicely. You can fix any mistakes here as well. I'm just taking a damp beauty blender. I like to blend everything out because this eye primer is very prone to like creasing, which is funny because it's an eye primer. But I'm then just going to set it with powder. Don't you hate it when you can't find a brush? Had it a minute ago. Where is that brow brush gone? I put you down literally 1 second ago. Where are you? I'm using my NYX HD Studio Photogenic finishing powder. This is just the translucent one. I've had really good things about this. I'm just going to pop a little bit on my brush and I'm going to quickly brush this over my eyelids to stop any creasing. Moving on to eyes, I'm really excited to be using the NYX Ultimate Shadow Palette in the warm neutrals. If you guys know me, I love warm tones, so this is the ultimate palette for me. It's got beautiful browns, golds, burgundies. It is just stunning. And I'm going to go in with this colour, which is very similar to like Saddle by MAC, more of an orangey tone. You guys know I like to start with a really warm tone in the crease. So just taking that on a MAC 224 brush, I'm going to apply this just to my crease area. I'm also going to take that crease colour into my inner corner area, not for a halo eye, but I just want to drag it right into the inner corner. Now I'm going to take a MAC 217, so you can see the difference here. This one's a lot fluffier, so the fluffier the brush, the softer the application. We always start off with quite a fluffy brush for our transition, but now I want to start adding depth, so I'm going to go in with the 217 because it is a little bit denser and smaller. And I'm going to be taking this colour right here, and we're going to be applying this right into the crease now. Now taking an even smaller brush, so I'm going to be using the MAC 221, which is this one. You can see again that this one is a lot smaller than the 217. It is a little bit finer and narrower as well. We're going to be taking this darker shade, which is a little bit of a darker brown, a little bit like Embark from MAC, and we're going to be popping this just into the outer corner of our eyes. I also learned a tip from Samantha Ravendale. She said if you angle your brush upwards like that, because I always do it this way, you're going to be dragging it downwards. But if you don't want it to go on the lid and you want to create a little bit of precision, then she said if you angle your brush like this and work it, the bristles are going to work downwards, which is a really handy tip. It feels super unnatural though. Then I'm going to be taking a MAC 218 brush. This one is even smaller. So it is kind of like a pencil brush, but a buffed out version of a pencil brush, so it's not as dense. I'm going to go back into that same dark color, and I'm really going to work this into the outer V area to give me that definition where I want it. Then taking that warmer shade again, I'm just going to buff this just on my lower lash line. Then taking that precise brush and going back into the darker shade, I'm just going to put this on my lower lash line, as close to the lash line as I can. Then I have the NYX Eye and Eyebrow Pencil. I didn't realise you could use it as an eyebrow pencil. I probably wouldn't because it is complete black. I'm just going to pop a little bit of this kohl pencil in my waterline. I'm going to cheat a little bit. I haven't got a black eyeshadow from NYX. If I did, I would use that. But I've just got the YAYYyayay Cosmetics black shadow from her bronze palette. It's the closest to me. I'm going to take a little bit of this black shadow and then just run this with this flat brush on my lower lash line because I really want to intensify this look. Going back into the NYX highlight and contour palette, I'm going to be taking this yellow shade on the TCH Cosmetics number 9 brush, and we're going to pop in this on our brow bone. Now taking the NYX liquid liner, this is skinny mascara. What am I talking about? Using the NYX liquid matte eyeliner, I'm going to be popping on a really fierce, sharp wing. So I can't talk to you guys whilst I'm doing it. I'm just going to fast forward you through this. That's as close as my wings are going to get to one another. I'm then just going to chuck on some House of Lashes in Iconic. I forgot a step. Before I put on the lashes, I'm going to be using the NYX double stacked mascara. This comes with like a primer with fibers in it, but because I'm putting lashes on, I don't really need that. I'm just going to coat them nicely just to get some black pigment onto my natural lashes. Now once you've got your lashes on, I'm going to introduce to you guys NYX's skinniest mascara. It's called the Skinny Mascara. It's literally the skinniest wand I've ever seen in my life, and I love that. It is absolutely tiny, look at it. I'm going to apply this to my bottom lashes. It reminds me of MAC's Extended Play Lash Mascara because it's such a thin one, but this is even better because it just lengthens, it adds thickness to your bottom lashes, and you're really going to see them. Now for a little bit of blush, but still keeping with that bronzed theme, I'm going to be using the NYX blusher in the shade Bronzed, which is quite fitting. It is a beautiful sort of burnt peppery colour which has got an orange undertone, which I always like, and I'm going to go back in with the same brush and just apply this to the apples of my cheeks. Moving on to highlight, I have the infamous NYX Strobe of Genius Illuminating Palette. I'm so excited to use this. I haven't tried it before. So I'm going to go in to, I think, this darker shade and mix it a little bit with the champagne and the yellow. Why not, to try them all in one go. Just on my TCH Cosmetics number 4 brush, and I'm going to apply this to the high points of the face. I can safely say I do understand what all the hype is about over this palette. Look at it. Moving on to lips, I'm going to be lining my lips with the NYX Suede in the shade Sandstorm. I feel like this is going around YouTube, making its rounds around YouTube at the moment because it is a beautiful nude colour. So I'm just going to pop this all over the lips and fill my lips in with it as well. I want my lips to be quite nude, so I'm going to take the NYX Lingerie in the shade Dusk to Dawn, which is more of a peachy sort of nude. And I'm just going to pop this on the lips a little bit and then give it a quick finger blend. I feel like all I need now are just some hoops to finish off this look, to really look fierce, you know, to look quite spicy. Alright guys, so that is it for this makeup look. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I had so much fun at creating it. The eyes are quite smoky, quite harsh. Therefore I've gone for a nude lip. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Leave me all your comments down below. Let me know down below what your favourite NYX product is as well. I think that's about it. I'll see you guys in my next video. Love you guys. Mwah.
It's February. I wonder if you think of me. Tell me, do you think of me? Baby, do you think of me?